We're going to be starting here in a little bit. So just introduction, my name is DUANE KLEINSASSER. I'm out of the state of Wisconsin and here to share a business and product presentation, share some information that's very vital to building the business, but I'm so excited to be on this call to share the information that we do have for you here this morning. I got my green tea ready and ready to go. Super excited again to be on this call to share some information that we believe as with the company, and especially my wife and myself as we've been building this business, of some nuggets that we can share. And it's so thankful for corporate to bring us on to help each and everybody else to dig into the information that we have and to share with the team members that what we do have in around the world in 50 different countries that we can share. So again, welcome to the call. And we're going to get started here in a little bit. Get your favorite OG product, get a pen and a paper, take some notes, and then so you can use them, because notes are not just for that day. I mean, what I have found is that notes that I have taken back in 2012 are still helping me build this business today, which is 2018. So again, welcome to the call, and settle in, enjoy the next half an hour to 40 minutes that we will share some information. Excuse me. At this time, we're going to get started. To get into the call, again, the title of it is Business and Product Presentation. As we were going through the bullet points of sharing the information, I want to start out by sharing some of the things that we have done and participated in building our business. And it starts out basically going back to the first presentation that my wife and I heard. It's very important to go back in your mind to see where you got started. Why did you get started in this business? And that's one thing I want to talk about here this morning is share a little bit of our story, and then dig into the 4 steps a little bit of sharing the business, building the business. But it goes back to August of 2011. And at that point in time, we had a business with 22 employees, and we were stressed out, to say the least. And when I got home from work, my wife said, somebody wants to come over here and share some products with us and share a presentation. We've tried the product before that presentation, and that's why we weren't reluctant on listening to the information. So what happened was she came over here and she did a presentation for us. And we got started on a gold pack at that night, but what really touched me, listening through the presentation, at that point in time was very negative. And that's one thing I share with people all the time. You don't have to be 100% on board to join this business, but you grow and go through it together as husband and wife. And if you don't, you have a mentor or a coach that will help you. But however, as we were getting started in this business, amazing things started happening. And again, we're traveling to do meetings all over the United States, and people ask me, how do you keep the passion going on building this business? And sometimes in life, we look to other things or to other people to stay focused or to stay encouraged or whatever it may be. But one thing that we have found is to stay encouraged. You have to work. You have to work on your inside. But also what the product did for us really, really kept us going, and the passion and the encouragement that we had for going out building the business. Needless to say is in 2011, we got started, and when started out sharing the product, we gave all our products away that came in our gold pack, and amazing things started happening. People started calling us for more products. People started calling us with testimonials. People started calling, they want to get started in a business. So it was an amazing thing that we experienced at that time. And again, looking at, we were never involved in any network marketing company at any given time before Organo. And we thought we found the best thing next to going to the moon. But that's how we were on fire with a passion because of the testimonies that we got from the products. I want to share some of the things that we experienced back in 2011. Is we had a son that was diagnosed with a breathing challenge, and we started using the products, and needless to say, it's 2018 right now. He has never used his medication after that when he started using the products. Again, not here to make any health claims or income claims by no means, but we started seeing testimonies coming in over and over. Every day we still have new testimonies coming in. And that's why we are so fired up about the product and about sharing the business, and not to feel pressured by if people ask, is this network marketing, or what have you got? You just have another product, or we believe in the products that we have here at Organo. And again, that's where we are as me and my wife building the business. But I want to go on sharing about introducing the products, and don't look past sharing the products daily. It doesn't matter who it may be, and I want to touch on that. But looking at where we are in 2011 to 2018, we've been able to do some amazing things. In 2012, just a little bit of a timeline, we sold our business and we went Organo full time. And again, I want to be careful how I deliver this here, but make sure if you do sell a business, or if you get out of your job, make sure you counsel with your upline before you do so, which I did. I mean, talk to the Nielsen's at that particular time, and of what we did. They were very helpful for us to make our decision. But again, there's always warnings that you want to look at. So moving on, we sold our business, started building, went Ruby, went Emerald, went Diamond. But it again, it was with a particular game plan. It was looking at it, what do we do next? And I'm not here to share anything new. I'm not here to share anything that you might not have heard before, but I'm here to share how we built the business, how we are going from going to out of state, where people, 145 guests show up, 45 guests show up. We have meetings that 50 guests show up, and so on. I mean, I was in one particular area in Michigan, and getting there, we pull into the yard, and there was a lot of people standing there. And I asked, I was actually a little nervous to get out of the vehicle and wondering what's going on here. I mean, are they here to see something else? Are they here to see me? Are they here to listen to what I have to tell them? I was very curious. I got out, and the first question they asked me was, "Are you the coffee guy?" And then I knew they were there to see me, and then I got a little bit more nervous, but started talking to the people and introducing myself, and the nervousness left me. But it was so amazing. So I asked the gentleman, his name was Daniel Graber. I asked Daniel, I said, "I want to ask you one question. What could you share with me how you got 145 guests to your place that have never heard of Organo and that have never seen the presentation, heard nothing, never tried a product? What did you do?" He said, "An amazing thing happened. A gentleman walked up to me a couple of weeks ago, and he shared 2 samples of coffee with me." I said, so he shared 2 samples, never mentioned anything else about the Ganoderma in it or anything like that. He shared the King of Coffee with him, two sachets. And he said, "I went home, I didn't tell him, but I have arthritis in my knees." Again, looking at it, he said, "I didn't think nothing of it. I went home, my knees hurt. The next morning, when I got out of bed, they really hurt bad. I got up, I started drinking the first cup, and I started realizing that there's something happening. It doesn't hurt as much as it normally does." He said, "I drank the second cup, and the pain from my knees left." He said, "I didn't feel a thing." He said, "Then I went out, I made a phone call, and I told the individual that shared the product with me," he said, "I would like to do a meeting at my place." He said, "I don't know anything about the product. I have no idea, but one thing I will tell you, the 2 sachets you gave me, I drank it, and I felt so much better." That's how the 145 guests got to my place. He said, "I started calling, I started sharing, and just people started showing up." He said, "I didn't even know if 1 person would show up or if 10 people would show up." He said, when they started pulling into his yard, he said, "I have no idea." He said he himself was confused about what they want there. He said, I never spoke to 145 people. He said the other people also invited people to that meeting. So it was amazing to go to that meeting and see all of that and get so fired up. It inspired me to go out there more and share about the products, because there was a stranger sampling a stranger, never heard about the product, nothing, and the 145 guests showed up. And the deal was, the next night we went to another meeting about 10 miles from that specific place, and they had another meeting. They went together, they said, "Could we have another meeting at a different place?" And I said, "Absolutely." So they had 50 guests at that meeting, and none of them were repeat guests from the night before. So it kept going that whole week. It kept going like that. I think at that particular trip that I did, there were 4 meetings. I think it was like around 280 to 300 guests just on one trip, based on sharing 2 sachets. And I share with people all the time, do not discount sharing with a stranger that may have a little bit of pain or health and wealth. Don't discount that. Share anyways. You never know where they are in their life. Never discount that. So fast forwarding a little bit is I went on my second tour out there, and we had the same experience. And then we went on a third trip out there, and again, it took us into different states. It took us into Ohio. It took us into Virginia. It took us into Pennsylvania. The same experience. People showing up, 50 people showing up, 45 people showing up, all from the same 2 samples as they were working to put meetings together. And I'm excited to say this is my wife and Casey Martin are leaving tomorrow, actually Wednesday, on another road trip out in the same area because people have requested meetings. They're going to be gone for 10 days, and they're going to be doing 2 to 3 meetings a day. So as I look at it, sampling 2 sachets, somebody on our team sampling 2 sachets and then spreading like wildfire in areas where people have never heard of Organo. Sometimes we get so confused, sometimes we get so lost, and sometimes we start listening to the small voices in our head that everybody has heard about Organo or about the products. The experience that I have seen coming out of Indiana, out of Michigan, out of Ohio, out of Virginia, out of Pennsylvania, there's still a lot of people out there that have never, ever heard of Organo. They said they've never tasted it, they've never heard of it, and they were so fired up on buying products. I mean, we sell products by, it's amazing, the dollars worth of products, anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500, $5,000, $7,000 a trip, that we will sell products just by sharing the product and somebody sampling them 2 sachets. So I wanna focus on this call, and that's just a little bit of an outline that I wanted to share, to not be afraid to sample a stranger in a grocery store, at a bus stop, at you go to a soccer game. Soccer is starting here in a little bit for us, so we can share the products with people playing soccer. Going to the bank, people ask us all the time, and the more you're in the business, the more questions you will get. I just talked to a gentleman this morning from South Carolina, and it's just the first question they ask me: are you still in the coffee business? Do you still share the products? I said, absolutely. This is what our business is. This is what we do to make a living at this point in time. So I want to dive into the 4 steps and share, again, like I said, it's nothing new. It's all information you may have heard before, and you are looking at, what can I do to build a business? What can I do to build a diamond ship? And again, looking at the 4 steps is becoming a product of the product. I go back to looking at what made us successful right away. What made us successful, even though I was negative, even though I really didn't want nothing to do with the business. I promised my wife, I said, I will support you, but I will not build a business. So looking at what she did, starting the business, she started sharing the product, but first we had to become a product of the product. Edward, can you hear me? I'm just wondering, I had a missed call, Edward, and I don't know if you can hear me. Bring up the 4 steps. So, okay, sounds good, thank you. So basically what our biggest thing was is to becoming a product of the product. We could not have gone out, shared with thousands and thousands of people if my wife and myself would have never become a product of the product. We look at I thought about it this morning. I took my children to school. My children use the product. They use the capsules. They use the shakes. They use the drinks every morning. Me and my wife, the same. We get up. We have OG pumping through our heart right away in the morning. And it's amazing as I thought about the process starting in 2011 to 2018, every morning, every day, all day long. Like, again, I'm drinking my green tea. Looking at it, we use the products every single day. That's how we can go out there and sharing the product. But if you do not become a product of the product, I promise you, you cannot share the product or the business effectively if you are not using the product. Using the toothpaste, using the soap, using the coffee, the drinks, the shakes. The shakes have been amazing to us. I lost 22 pounds. My wife lost 12 pounds. But sharing it with people, they look at us and they say, did you lose weight? I said, absolutely. He said, how did you do it? I met a gentleman last week. He said, I would like to lose weight. I want to buy 2 bags of shakes. I didn't even bring it up. He asked me if I lost weight. I said, yes, I did. How did you do it? And I shared it with him. It's that simple. Again, if I would have not used the shakes, I could not have shared with him about being a product of the product, about how I lost my weight. Testimonies are very, very vital in building the business, and I see it more and more every day. We get new testimonials in every day. Is it making money, a little bit of money on the side that they needed to pay their bills, an extra $200, $300, $500, whatever it may be, however hard you work, that's how much you're going to get paid. But however, on the products, it's amazing. Again, I can share testimony after testimony that keep me and my wife going, that keep me and my wife plugged in, encouraging that people share with us. So again, whenever you do have testimonies, make sure you share them with your upline. Make sure that you email it, write it out, not just tell it to them over the phone. What we have experienced, and again, early in the business, Mr. Nielsen was here in Wisconsin sharing with us. He said, make sure you write it out. Make sure you take the time, type it, write it, whatever you may do, because as we do that, we think about it and we process it, and then it burns into your mind deeper than just sharing it verbally. So I encourage you, if you have testimonies, it's vital to building this business. It's vital to helping your downline, your success team, everybody to come together as a team with testimonials and sharing it, because you might get tired and weary at times. And if you see one testimony, all of a sudden your spark, the fire starts burning again, and then you're fired up to go out and share more and more about the product again and again and again. Again, looking at I want to touch again, being a product of the product, share your testimonies, and then it comes to being on an auto ship. And I want to share about auto ship a little bit. Is when we first got started, we were on our minimum. I mean, we signed up. The Nielsen's told us this is what you have to do for auto ship. But then, as a couple of months went by, Mr. Nielsen said this. He said, "I'll tell you something. You will build a bigger business if you go on a case. Buy 450 QV," and that's what we did. That's all we needed to hear. Our coach told us, "Here's what we need to do," and we did it. And as we still go back, Mr. Bugs talks about it all the time. Is you're doing right journal. What did I do right journal? And we can go back, starting to the first event we went to in Las Vegas in 2012 to even to now, going back, what did we do right building the business? So, and that's the things that I look back at is listening to what your upline has to say. And I'm not sitting here being perfect at that. And I'll be the first one to say that sometimes I mess up by not staying in touch with my upline better than I should, because again, they know more than I do. And it's sometimes we just, we think we know better. But I'll say this, and I'll encourage each and every one from experience, stay plugged in, talk to your upline, share with them what's going on, and ask for advice. Don't be afraid to do that, because they've been through a lot more than we have. So as a diamond, even the situations and the challenges that we have, it always helps giving them a courtesy phone call and just sharing with them. And not to waste their time, but to share what's going on. Talking about purchasing 2 boxes of black and a box of black and a box of a latte when they come and sign up on any package. One thing I want to share is we did meetings in Pennsylvania, in Ohio last month, and talking about the 2 boxes. There is not one CJM we did on that trip that's all they bought. We signed up 10 gold packs in 2 nights, and looking at what did they buy. Each and every one of them went out from there between $200 to $500 worth of product. A lot of times we discount that too, as we don't want to share that 2 boxes of coffee, a black and a latte. But again, as I look at our business of what it has grown to, our leadership told us, don't be afraid to share or sell them a box of black and a box of latte for wholesale, because they're distributors now that we go in and help them succeed rather than to fail. So again, looking at it from that point of view, make sure when you bring people into the business, they leave with products, because that's the only way they can start sharing. That's the only way they can get excited. That's the only way they can go home to their mom and dad or their siblings or whatever it may be to share products with them right away. That is very, very important to do that. And again, as when we got started in the business, I like going back to when we started in the business, because it always reminds me, and it always helps me to look at what happened when we started the business. We were told to buy a box of black and a box of latte. We were told to give a lot of products away. We were told to get started on auto ship at $450 a case. That's what we did. And that's where our business grew the fastest. This is where our business grew bigger than at any point in time than we got started. 90 days into when we got started is when we were coachable, teachable, and trainable. Sometimes, again, we still coach, we're still teachable, and we're still trainable, but we sometimes think we know too much. We get overtrained, and then we get training. Some people like to call it training constipated. So we look at it from that point of view, what to do next. Again, looking at it, once you have that in place, go home and build a list. Build a list long and strong. Again, I still to this day add on to the list that I have built in 2011. In 2011, I had around 300 people on my list, around 300 people. Right now, as I scroll through my phone and as I'm getting to know more people in business, in other ventures that we have going on, it's so much, so many people out there that we can add to our list. So again, looking at it, make a list long and strong. I encourage you, again, over and over, there's people out there that are looking for extra income. There's people out there that love the products. I had a gentleman at my house on Saturday. He's not really been too encouraging to my wife and myself in the coffee business, but he came over for some other things, and I made him a cup of coffee. And I didn't say anything. I asked him if he would like a cup of coffee, and he said, absolutely, I love coffee. So I made him a cup of coffee, 10 ounces of water with a black coffee, and he said, this tastes good. I said, I know, I've told you already, but in the past we've discussed it, and I said, I've shared it with you, and I would not have shared it with you if it wouldn't have been good. But it's amazing, as people watch you, no matter what you do, people will watch you. Some will watch you succeed, some will hope that you fail. But the best thing to do is keep sharing the products, keep sharing your testimonies, keep sharing what you have here in Organo, keep sharing the stories of other people. I mean, we have our upline, even Johnny and Rebecca Wallman, they share their testimonies with us and what's happening in their business. Even Casey Martin would share testimonies with us. Again, looking at what can we do to help each other build this business. And the most important thing is, again, what I will say, the best business card that we have, the best tool that we have is our products. Share your products. Again, build your list long and strong, because again, looking at where we are in the business, even 6 years, going on 7 years into the business, we have still not even contacted all the people that we get to know daily. Because once you have 200 contacts in your phone, they also know people. So you get to know more people with the contacts that we have, and start calling them and sharing the product. Again, we're operating right now, I believe, in 35 different states as my wife and myself. As Organo, we operate in 50 different countries, but what the leadership has put in place, Mr. Bernie Chua, Shane Moran, and Mr. Buggs, it's amazing how we can reach out to people, and as things evolve, we were talking a little bit ago, Edward and I, is how it evolves from doing phone calls to Zoom. And I kind of made a joke that most of the people that we have on our team don't even have a phone. So it's hard to get them into the computer world without even having a phone. But you can still build a business. It doesn't matter if they have phones, email, computers or not, because they still need health, and they still need wealth. They still need to go to work to make a living. So again, make your list long and strong. Talking about OG mixers, again, that was another very vital part of our going diamond, is looking at it. You make sure you do CJMs. Make sure you do, at the minimum, host one a week. And again, going back to the meetings that we've been out doing on the road and traveling to do them, it's amazing that one person can put together 8 meetings in 1 week. One person will put together 8 meetings in 1 week. And you look at it, I know personally it's tiring. I know personally you have to know a lot of people to do that, but it's just amazing to me, even sitting at where we are in the business, that there's people out there really working very hard, and they don't even look, it's like they have their blinders on. They don't look to the left and they don't look to the right. And it really encourages me and inspires me as they're out there setting up meetings, invite us in to their home. And all the meetings that we're doing right now is actually in the home. So they're really not public meetings. So they're all home CJMs. So, and a lot of times people will fret about their house is not clean enough. It's, I need to do this, I need to bake cookies. You don't need to do any of that in order, make sure your house is clean. Yeah, it's true to that, but don't go over above and beyond in order to host a CJM. Make sure you have hot water and the products, and we'll come in, or you can invite somebody in to share the product, or you can do the presentation yourself, whatever you may choose. But however, it's amazing how big of a business you can build from a home-based standpoint, going to people's homes and sharing the product. We don't do all our CJMs in our own home. We go out and we do the meetings in the people that are on our team. And that's, again, you help them and they invite, but we always have a lot of people coming to the meetings and wanting to hear about what we have to offer. So make it a nice, comfortable atmosphere. Share the beverages, share the plane. Again, looking at it, getting the products out into the neighborhood, out into the communities. That's one of the things I, again, want to emphasize here. Don't underestimate the sachets. 2 sachets. With them 2 sachets, I truly believe here in the next 6 months, there will be sapphires and rubies and even emeralds, and somebody taking a good run as diamond just from 2 sachets. So basically what I want you to do is make a commitment to yourself and nobody else. What can I do? How many sachets can I share? And don't say I can introduce it to 10 people if you're not introducing it to 1. Make sure you start out with 2 sachets, share it, and keep building on top of that, because you never know where them 2 sachets can lead. Another story I want to share is this quickly, is that when back in July of 2012, our business, we were Rubies at that time. And then as we were building our business, I got a phone call from a different state, and looking at where they were at, it was like an 8-hour drive, and they wanted me to come do a meeting for them. And they said they're really interested in doing the business. So I got in my vehicle, but that 8-hour drive, I just about turned around 3 different times coming home because it was too far, and I really I was nervous. I mean, I was listening to myself too much. But I said, you know what? I'll keep going. So I went down there. It was actually in Iowa. And I went to do a meeting. And that night, 3 gold packs signed up. What if I would have turned around and not driven the 8 hours? I didn't know what I was going to get. I didn't know who's going to sign up or who's going to get started, if they would even love the products. They've never tried the products. They just heard of me through a friend of mine. So I went down there again, like I said, 3 gold packs got started that night. And it's a funny thing. One of the gentlemen that was at that meeting, he was a farmer. So he actually went home. He sold one of his cows and got started in Organo. I told my wife that must have been a very powerful presentation that I did to make somebody sell a cow, but that's what happened. But as we were working through the process of 3 gold packs signing up, at the end of July of 2012, we signed up 99 gold packs just because of me making a trip, 8-hour drive. I didn't want to drive there because I was nervous doing a presentation out of the area and away from people that I knew, away from my wife being in the crowd to encourage me and at least participate. So it's, again, looking at it, somebody shared sachets of product. Again, they didn't even try them before I even showed up. They had sachets, but they didn't drink them. They didn't know anything about the business. I showed up at their house. 3 couples showed up. 3 couples signed up on OG. And from there, the rest is history. So again, looking at it from our point of view on sharing the business, sharing the product, how to get the product out to the people. The one tip that I can give you is this, before we end this call, is this: don't discount what people need and want. Don't try to figure out what people need and want. Put all fear aside. Put it aside. Don't worry about what other people think. Just go out there, share the product, because we know this: some will, somewhat, and then we move on. So with that being said, I thank you all so much for being on this call. I'm going to check here something. For being on the call this morning. I know people are busy. They've got a job that they have to attend to and get done what needs to get done. So with that being said, thank you again for being on the call and for listening to what I have to say. Just remember, it's simple, it's easy, it's Organo.